Hey everyone, hope you guys had a great weekend. It's Monday, but we did get some good announcements today from Hive. Provided some information that they're buying Intel miners. They're also partnering with Compute North, and then we also have CORZ providing their production for February along with Argo. So we'll take a look at that. Also, Bitcoin has obviously fallen a little bit lower. I spoke about it yesterday that I had that concern that might happen based on the RSI of what I was seeing with that. And so that did actually come true, unfortunately. So we'll take a look at Bitcoin, see where it's at now. We'll take a look at the miners, see how they did, and we'll get into otherwise the details of the news. So as always, not financial advice. This is what I invested in, what I own as far as stocks and coins. So let's get into the miners here really quick, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty here. So here's Annie. Annie is down again today, another 9.39%. So this is Fear 3D, so it's down to $1.93. We're seeing this continuation of a downtrend here on it, and could be based on Bitcoin being down as well. So a lot of these guys are obviously, Bitcoin goes down, these guys go down, Bitcoin goes up, these guys go up. So it's par for the course. Argo was down 2.59% to 75 cents today. Bitfarms was down 6.1% to $3.23. Cleanspark was down 2.47 to $9.10. We're seeing 3 days in a row now where it's in the red. CORZ is down 2.79% to $6.28. We'll take a look at obviously Core Scientific production for February here. Digihost was down a lot. It was down 16.88% to $2.66. So we've obviously hit a little peak here a couple of days ago and obviously been going down the last 3 days. DMG was down also big, 16.63% to 43 cents. Hive was down 7.3% to $1.65. HUT was down 7.33% to $4.93. So, I mean, we're seeing a pattern here. Everybody's being down today. Except for Iris Energy was up slightly, almost up, well, it was up 0.42% to $14.48. And like I've said before, this one's kind of trading sideways flat a little bit here for the last couple week or 2 weeks. Marathon was down 5.87% to $21.48. Mawson was down 8.98% to $3.04. And Riot was up 0.2% on the day to $14.95. So obviously the market's down, Bitcoin's down, miners are down for the most part, except for a few exceptions here and there. So let's take a look at Bitcoin here really quick. So Bitcoin right now is at 38,430. So it's gone up a little bit here in the last hour since I started recording this. I think when I did my sheets here, I was using 38,050. So it's gone up a little bit here. So it's starting to pump a little bit. But that's on the 1 hour here. So yesterday, that was the 6th. I said, based on the way we were looking with the RSI being, I think it was right around here that we did it, or was it further on? No, this is morning. Did the video around 6, 7, 1800 hours or so. We were right around here. Seeing that we were back here, we were up higher. I said that we're probably looking to go down even lower. We did, however, go up a little bit higher in the morning today, but then we fell obviously towards our support here. And our support is at 37,500. We crossed it, bounced off of it, came up above it, and now we're bouncing above it as well. Looking at the RSI right now, we are at 52 on it. Last time we were here, we were obviously higher as well, so we're still having that downtrend in price while the RSI is either flat or going up a little bit. So that's also concerning. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have another pullback happening here within the next couple hours where we come back and test this support here, see if we can hold on to it. Or if it reverses, then we may possibly go up higher a little bit before we come back down because the RSI is just looking a little too heated here. On the 4-hour chart, we can see it obviously came down, touched it, came above it, and let's see here, we're at 43 last time we were here. Yeah, so I mean, obviously we're a lot higher. Not a lot higher, but significantly higher, and we're lower now. So that's what's giving me concern, thinking that we may go down lower as well. Let's take a look at Ethereum. And Ethereum is doing pretty much the same thing as Bitcoin. You can see it on the RSI and on the price chart here as well. We'll have to see if we obviously have a little bit of support here at 2,456 or 50 roughly. It's at 2537 right now. So we're having a little bit of a rally in it. But yeah, we'll have to monitor it, see how it goes. Let's take a look at the hash rate. A lot of miners have been saying that their production is down because of hash rate increases. and obviously energy curtailment, so miners were being shut down. Let's reload the page, see where we're at here. So we're starting to come back up a little bit here. We were down lower yesterday, and then we're coming back up on it. And if we look at the month of February, we actually, I would think, I mean, we started out almost at, what is that, 200 million, and then we ended up for the month here, 223. So it's a 10% increase or so in the hash rate. So that obviously accounts for some of it, but obviously the miners being turned off is probably the majority of the reason why they're down. So let's take a look at Hive Blockchain. Hive Blockchain announces landmark deal to buy new high-performing ASIC chips from Intel and a 100 megawatt renewable energy deal in Texas. So this is obviously interesting and it's good. We want to see, we want to see these miners grow. And the only way that they're going to grow is by buying, obviously, miners, diversifying their business maybe a little bit, like some of these guys are doing. Hive got into other things as well, invested in those things. And obviously, if you're buying miners, you need electricity for those, you need data centers for them. And the only way to do that is either build them yourself or basically have somebody else manage them for you. So they're going to be doing it with Compute North here. So Hive is pleased to announce a supply agreement with Intel Corporation to purchase new high-performing ASIC chips that will be incorporated into the state-of-the-art mining equipment that will be custom-built for Hive. We also are announcing that Hive has entered into a letter of intent with Compute North LLC to host 100 megawatts of mining capacity in one of their new Texas renewable energy data centers facilities. This facility would be our first mining operation in the United States. So North Compute also does infrastructure for Marathon, and possibly a couple other guys, but can't remember. But they do a lot of, obviously, data centers for Bitcoin mining. So here's the Intel supply agreement. The company has also entered into a manufacturing agreement with a ODM, original design manufacturer, that has expertise in electronic manufacturing. The ODM will integrate Intel's blockchain accelerators into an air-cooled Bitcoin mining system. So these will have fans. These are not immersion-cooled. Hive's engineering team will draw on its expertise in hardware and software implementation and will work closely with Intel and the ODM partner on the system's integration. So obviously they did not provide who the ODM is. These miners are expected to be delivered over a period of 1 year, starting in the second half of calendar 2022. So after sometime beginning in July, possibly. The effect of which, if they are installed, would be an expected increase of up to 95% in our aggregate Bitcoin mining hash rate from 1.9 exahash per second currently, I guess. So we're looking at 95%. We're looking at roughly, what would that be? 850 petahash or so, something like that. On that, so it would be a nice increase. Let's do a little bit of, I'll have to do some math on that to figure out how many miners we would be buying. If the miners from Intel are 135 terahash, I believe. So let's continue on. Mr. Kylek continued, the Intel supply agreement coupled with the ODM manufacturing agreement creates a pathway from chip mini production to an ASIC miner that sets us apart from our competitors. We know that other companies are getting the Intel miners as well. So I don't know how they're going to set them apart, but we'll see. Mr. Kylek noted Intel's energy efficient and high performance blockchain accelerator is expected to reduce our power consumption over current ASIC miners on the market. So yes, they do have some of the older miners here on the market. But Intel's is not, it's slightly better than Bitmain's Antminers S19s Pros, I believe those are the 100 to 110 terahash. So they're a little bit better than those, but they're not better than the XPs, which are the 140 terahash miners at, I think, like 3,200 watts or something like that. And these are going to be like 3,500 watts or something like that at 135. So slight improvement in it, but obviously not better than the leading ones, which are the XPs. Let's see here. Hive will participate in the system development process from design verification through the prototype stage and then factory and test engineering regimens to arrive at a production model. We are well positioned and excited to undertake this process ahead. So this is obviously going to be pretty quick here. I mean, we're already in, what is this now? March. So they only got a couple months before they would have to basically start production and getting those miners out to them for sometime in July, maybe August, September shipments. Hive's vision is to be technology leader in the crypto mining space, pushing the envelope in research and development initiatives paired with hash rate analytics to optimize efficiency of our operations and maximize return on investment capital. I think this is a good thing. This is actually a really good thing because obviously what we've heard is the Intel miners are going to be less expensive, possibly half is what they are from Bitmain. So that'll be obviously a quick ROI on the investment here, I think. Next is their 100 megawatt of renewable energy in Texas. So Hive is also pleased to announce it has entered into a non-binding letter of intent with Compute North. Compute North, as the industry leader in sustainable large-scale computing infrastructure, is rapidly expanding its footprint with development of numerous new facilities in the United States. So we know that they're doing it for obviously Marathon, and they're getting other partners in it as well. Interesting part here that I noted was, okay, here. So the letter of intent constitutes a related party transaction. As such, term is defined in multilateral instruments 61-101, protection of minority security holders in special transactions, 6101. As Dave Perrell is a director and officer of Compute North and a director of Hive. So that's where they're obviously know somebody that could get them into the door into Compute North to get their miners into them to do the obviously hosting for them. Let's see here. What else was it? Right on the basis that the letter of intent does not exceed 25% of the fair market value of the company's market capitalization. So we'll have to see obviously how that plays out and what the contract is actually like. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. So they're increasing their hash rate by about 850 petahash, which is great. They need to grow obviously if they're going to keep up with the other guys. Otherwise, if you're not growing, you're going to be basically earning less and less. So they need to grow, diversify, and be as efficient as they can be, basically. So this is good. Working with Compute North is fine. Obviously, they don't have the space to do it in their current data centers that they own. So I'm fine with this. We'll have to obviously see what the details are on the hosting agreement. All right, so let's take a look at CORZ Scientific here. So CORZ Scientific provided their numbers for February. Updates here. They produced 981 Bitcoins, increased self-mining hash rate to 8.2 exahash. So we'll take a look at my spreadsheet to see how that works out. Increased hosted hash rate to 7.7. So those are both pretty good increases in hash rates on both. Take a look here, down here. Here it is. So 2022 operating guidance, we believe that we are well positioned to achieve 40 to 42 exahash of total hash rate by the year end of 2022. That's huge. Excuse me, that's obviously going to make them, I think, one of the biggest here in the industry. Distributed approximately evenly between our self-mining and hosting segments, demand for our hosting capacity remains strong and continues to exceed our available supply. Our construction and power team is on pace to achieve 1.2 to 1.3 gigawatts of operating infrastructure by year end. To continue expanding our hosting and self-mining capacity, Mr. Levitt added. So that's a lot of power there. Go down here. Where was it? February update. Self-mining. So CORZ Scientific self-mining operations produced 981 Bitcoins in February, averaging 35 Bitcoins per day, an increase from January of 34.7 daily average, and represented a year-over-year increase of 313% as of February 28th, 2022. The company held 7,355 Bitcoins produced from operations. As of February month ended, CORZ Scientific operated its own fleet of more than 80,000 Bitcoin miners producing 8.2 exahash, and then hosting. In addition to self-mining fleet, as of February 28th, 2022, CORZ Scientific provide infrastructure, technology, and operating support for a diverse group of customers, representing 7.7 exahash, which is also a huge increase. And then obviously grid support here. So here's where they didn't have a pretty, well, I don't know how to place it, how to word it. It wasn't a great month for them as far as how much they produced. And this is partially why. So in the month of February, the company powered down portions of its operations in 2 states on 14 separate occasions. Aggregate electrical curtailment for these events exceeded 4,400 megawatts of hours. As the company has demonstrated throughout the winter months, it will continue to work with the communities and utility companies in which it operates to enable and ensure electrical grid stability. And a lot of these guys are doing it, so we know that's going to happen during the winter months where they obviously shut down to provide more electricity for the grid so people can heat their homes. And we may see that also in the summertime for air conditioning and things like that. So overall, the best thing is obviously that they increase their hash rate, which I think is going to benefit them in the long run. So let's take a look at the numbers I have here for CORZ Scientific. Let's see here, CORZ Scientific. So obviously they mined 981 Bitcoins in February. a value of approximately 42.3 million. It is a decrease of 96 Bitcoins basically from their prior month of January, which they also mined a little bit more from December, 33 more in January than in December. That is about an 8.9% decrease though in the amount mined. So on their own miners for February, I added 7,000 miners basically to get us to the 8.2 exahash rate that they're at. So we're at 8.2 right now exahash for them, for their self-hosting, which is right there. And we did increase the number of miners, obviously, so that got us to about 82,850 miners. They said they were over 80,000. Didn't provide us with an exact number, which wasn't great. I mean, that was great increase, but it wasn't great that they didn't provide us with exact numbers. Would have been nicer to have exact numbers instead of ballpark numbers. And going down here for the hosting, I still don't know what they're going to be charging hosting, so I got to find out from when they report their I think it's going to be Q4, Q1 earnings reports. When they do that, right now I'm at basically 12 cents per miner basically being installed. I think if they're getting power at around 4 or 5 cents, then they're basically making two times that in hosting revenue. So I'm just guessing here, this could be a lot higher. This is the number that's really important to me, is what they're making on their own hosting. And then obviously these are the miners that got installed for the hosting here. So we got basically 6,600 miners getting installed. That gets them to the 7.7 roughly exahash on the hosting as well. Hosting, I'm guessing, gets them about 4.8 right now on the month. And then their own mining is 42 million based on, which is pretty close to what they're reported as having mined 981, 42.3 million. And then I have them at 42.5, which is really close to that as well. So going forward, they are approximately, I have them at 32 exahash right now, currently that they have reported. They're saying they're going to be at 40 to 42, which is another 8 to 10 exahash increase from where they were. That will obviously change the percentage of operational that they are right now. Right now I'm at 48% operational of future hash rate, which will obviously change if that gets increased as well. Let's see here. What else do we want to look at? So right now, based on the numbers, last 3 quarters, I'm at around 145 million. Combined with this quarter, which is January, February, and March, we're looking at approximately 139 million currently. Depending on where the price of Bitcoin ends up this month, that will determine it. I mean, we're pretty set as far as January and February are. March is going to obviously determine that for us at the end of the month. We'll see what they actually end up making, but right now 139 million. So combined total for the 4 quarters will be around 284 million, 50% discount, basically net income from revenue. We're looking at 142, and then price earnings multiple of 20. We're looking at 871. And then if we're using the 75% net income from gross revenue and price earnings multiple of 20, we'd be at 1307. They are at 628 right now, which leads me to think that they are undervalued. And they are sitting closer to being about price earnings multiple of 15 right now. So we'll see how this works out. HODL obviously is 7,355 Bitcoins right now, so that's valued about approximately 280 million right now, and it is about 13.65% of their market cap right now. So each share has about 86 cents of Bitcoin HODL value in it. All right, so obviously a great quarter for them as far as getting miners installed. Not great that they had to obviously shut down operations for a while because of the cold weather. And that contributed to their decrease in Bitcoin being mined. I think that's going to improve going forward. So we should have a pretty good month in March, and then going forward into April, May, and June, I think, as well. So we'll see how that works out. So let me know what you guys thought of that in the comments down below. And let's get into the next story here, which is Argo. So Argo, during the month of February, Argo mined 135 Bitcoins or Bitcoin equivalent together BTC compared to 172 BTC in January 2022. This reduction of BTC mined during February is primarily due to a record high global hash rate and subsequent network difficulty increases. Yes, I mean, global hash rate obviously increases, so your network difficulty is going to increase as well. Additionally, the company's facilities in Mirabel and Béa, I can't pronounce that, Quebec, were subject to significant curtailment due to cold weather conditions, as were the company's hosted machines at CORZ Scientific's facility in North Dakota. So CORZ obviously provided that they were shut down for about 14 days, or 14 times they were shut down, but we don't know exactly how many days they were shut down. I wouldn't be surprised if CORZ Scientific is shutting down the hosting part of it more than they are shutting down their own. but that's just my thinking on it. My thoughts. I don't have any news on that or any concrete things. Just kind of my thinking on that. This curtailment exemplifies how cryptocurrency mining facilities can be used to establish North America's electrical grid by reducing energy consumption during times of peak demand. Argo, like other company miners, has agreements to access lower electricity prices with suppliers in return for limiting usage in periods of peak demand. So yes, all these guys are doing it. Based on daily foreign exchange rates and cryptocurrency prices during the month, mining revenue in February amounted to 4.1 million pounds or 5.58 million US dollars. January was 5.26 and 7.1 million. Intel, so they're also getting Intel, but there was something else. Oh, yeah, they did have a correction here. Let's see here, number 2, where was it? They provided a correction. Where did I see it? Oh, at the end here. Correction, so mining revenue was 4.1 million pounds, 5.58 million USD. And at the end, they held 2,685 BTC and 246 BTC equivalents. So that was updated in the post here, wasn't updated here, which they provided here, 2,685. And here was, oh yeah, so they did correct it, okay. So Intel supply agreement, the company is also pleased to announce it has signed a supply agreement with Intel Corporation to purchase Intel's new blockchain accelerator. The company has pro rata allocation rights to purchase a supply of the Intel units, with the delivery anticipated to begin in the second half of 2022. So the same as Hive. They did not provide anything as far as if they're doing their own custom setup here or if they're just using Intel's setup. We'll be interested to know what they are getting, how much they're getting. Also, the other thing is they didn't provide what their hash rate was at the end of February, which was surprising. Usually they do that. So I'm guessing that hash rate has stayed the same. So I think that was it here. Yeah. So let's take a look at the numbers I have here for them. For Argo, we got them at mining 135. So that was a 21.51% decrease, 37 less than in January. So obviously, the hash rate has increased. They didn't get any miners installed as well. And based on the numbers here, this is kind of interesting here. So I came up with around 5.8 million in revenue based on the 135 Bitcoins that were mined. Excuse me. So I had to drop them down to basically operating 19 days here in February, which is a decrease of, like 9 days to get them to the 5.8 million in revenue as compared to with the 135 here and the 5.8 here to be on the same side. So I don't know exactly how many days they were down, but based on the way I calculated, it looks like they were down for about 9 days during the month, which is a lot. It's basically a 1/3 of the month here being down. So, but that got us to 5.7 million for the month. We're still at 1.6 exahash on it. For them, no reports of any new miners being installed, unfortunately. Hash rate hasn't grown. It doesn't look like it because they didn't provide it. Maybe they'll provide it later on. But right now we got about 850 miners here that are supposed to be delivered and installed or that haven't been yet based on my calculations here. If you have some better or more accurate numbers, let me know. I'll update it. And then we're obviously looking for Q2 and Q3. So it's going to be a while before they start getting more miners, and Q2 doesn't start until, July, August, and September. So we got a couple of months here where basically they're going to be flat and actually making less, it looks like, on Argo. So we'll see how this plays out, see if they can actually announce what they're getting as far as the Intel miners and things like that, see if they can obviously bump up their growth. But right now we got them at basically future hash rate of about 3.6, depending on how many Intels they get. That obviously decreased their current operational percentage, so they're 43.5% operational right now with 26,000 miners roughly, and hash rate average is pretty low right now. It's 61,000. We obviously want to get that, or 61 terahashes per miner. We want to get that up, and that's basically because of these miners here and here. So we really want to get these out of here to increase their hash rate, the average. What else can we take a look at? So Bitcoin HODL is about 102 million, so it's 34, almost 35% of their market cap of 292 million, which is not good. We want to see this lower in the future. Obviously, they do have a lot of shares out, 390 million shares out currently, it looks like, and their current price is 75 cents for Argo. And based on the numbers here, we're looking at last 3 quarters are going to be around 76.5 million roughly. We're still waiting on exact numbers for them. But with this quarter as well, we're looking at 20.8 million. So for a combination of those, we're looking at 97.4 million roughly. So 50% net income from that would be 48.7 million. Price to earnings multiple 20. We're looking at a stock price of $2.50. And if we're using 75% net income and price to earnings 20, we're looking at 375. If we bring that down to 15, we're looking at 281, 187. So I do think they are still undervalued. And given that they're going to be getting the Intel miners, which are obviously possibly half the price of the Bitmain miners, and they're obviously going to be able to return investment on that ROI, and that's going to be a lot quicker. Let me see if there's anything else. I think that's it. Obviously, a lot of numbers as always. You know, these spreadsheets are available to you guys on my Patreon page. You can get them there, play around with them, do your own little forecasting if you like. But yeah, that's it. So great news by Hive, obviously great news by Argo as well, getting the Intel miners as well. And then CORZ Scientific growing the way that they are, they're going to be huge. So the only problem is we'll see how fast they can get everything implemented and grown going forward. Don't know how much they're making on the hosting yet. Once that gets updated, we'll have updated numbers as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let me know what you guys thought of it, what you thought of the numbers, what you thought of both Argo's numbers, which aren't looking too good right now, along with CORZ Scientific's. And then where do you guys think things are going to be going forward? So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.